These are 3 mistakes every producer needs to avoid if they want to get their music placed in TV and film. Let's talk about them. What's up, people? It's Clint on behalf of Airbit, and I'm here to drop some music licensing tips on you and some things to avoid if you want to get your music placed in TV and film and see a higher success rate in your submissions and things like that. So let's dig into it. So the first mistake I see a lot of producers make when they're trying to pitch their music for TV and film placements is not doing the research prior to reaching out and pitching music, right? So how do you do research? The thing you want to make sure you're doing before you reach out to a music licensing company or a music library is visit their website and see what kind of music they place and use a lot of, right? You can go through, and most companies, they'll have like their catalog on the website where you can go through and listen to it. So just go through and listen and make sure they even represent the kind of music that you do. You want to make sure it's a good fit. Another thing you can do is use a site like tunefind.com where you can research shows and movies and actually hear the music that's been placed on those shows and movies. So if you see a music licensing company, you see on their website that they recently had something placed on Teen Moms, you can go to tunefind.com, search in Teen Moms, click on the latest season and listen to the music that Teen Moms use, right? So now when you reach out to that company and say, hey, I'm a producer, this is this and that, you know exactly what they already need. So you can begin to build, sort of a demo reel of those styles of tracks so that it'll be a good fit and you know that you're adding value to that company because you're giving them what they already need. So don't just blindly send out an email and pitch and say, hey, I want to get my music placed in TV and film. Take the time, browse the website, go on TuneFind, use that as a resource and make sure you're doing your due diligence before reaching out. Otherwise, you can prevent a great opportunity from happening because you didn't take the time to do that research prior to reaching out. The second mistake I see producers make when trying to get their music placed in TV and film is not knowing how to structure their instrumentals. So if you're trying to do background instrumental cues for reality TV and different shows and commercials and things like that, there's certain formats that work best, right? And there's certain elements in the track that makes it more successful and more likely to actually be used by an editor because it makes their job easy, right? So one of those things is producing short intros. Like, you don't want your intro to be like 1.5 minutes long. Like, it's just too long. So keep it short and simple. I say no more than 14, 15 seconds max. If you can do it shorter than that, 5 seconds, even better, because it's about getting straight to the point. And things and scenes evolve quickly in TV and film, so we just don't have all day to listen to your elaborate intro. I'm sorry. I know it's dope, but we don't have time. So keep your intro short. Digging a little bit deeper into the structure, you want to make sure your entire track is building and adding instrumentation gradually throughout the track. So maybe every 8 bars, you may want to introduce a new sound or a new melody or something to keep the track moving and developing so it doesn't sound loopy and repetitive and boring, right? Also, this gives editors a chance to use multiple parts of your tracks and place multiple parts, which could increase your placements with just one track because you have different elements in the track that they can use. You may have one part of your track, say in the second verse, where it's just drums and bass, right? Or drums and 808s. They'll just take that part and use that as a completely separate cue. Then they may take a second part of your track, say the chorus with all of your instrumentation in there all at once, and use that as a totally different cue. So it gives them options, it gives them flexibility, and it keeps your track from sounding redundant and repetitive, and it just increases your chances of the track actually getting placed and used in TV. Now we're gonna dig a little bit deeper into the structure and making sure your endings are on point, right? So we don't want to use what's called fade outs, or like have your track fading out to an end, right? No fade outs in TV and film. You want to create what's called a sting ending, right? So that may just be a kick, a crash, your synth sounds, whatever sounds you have, all hitting one note and just ending. It's just like an abrupt ending. If you listen to TV or you watch TV, you'll notice it a lot, especially in reality TV when things are happening or scenes are transitioning from scene to scene, you'll hear what's called a sting ending, and then the track ends and it just naturally just kind of resolves after that. So you want to make sure you have that sting ending, because if it's a fade out, you know, that may discourage the editor from actually using your track, or the track actually being accepted into a music library, because they look for that. That's a very important element you want to make sure you're including in your instrumental tracks. The third mistake that I see so many producers make, it's insane how many producers make this mistake, but it is not following instructions well. Like, that is probably number one. Like, honestly, if you want to beat most of your competition, just follow instructions. Like, you will beat the competition. I don't know what it is, but instructions seem to be like this secret code for, like, I don't know, like, don't do what they just asked you to do. Like, I don't get it. But listen, following instructions is so crucial in music licensing, right? Because a lot of times we get a set of instructions in the form of what's called a brief, right? And it's what the style of the track should be like, you know, what the references are, what the tempo should be, the mood, the vibe, all of that stuff. Like, we get instructions on how to submit files, how to format files, how to name files. We get instructions and they're very detailed. And if you can't follow those, you're gonna have a hard time getting TV placements and getting work from these music licensing companies and publishers and supervisors and things like that. So you have to make sure you follow instructions, even if it's just in the submission phase where you're just reaching out. A lot of companies will have specific instructions on how to submit. And if you don't follow those instructions, you just get thrown in like the junk mail bundle, and you don't want to end up there. Like, what's a junk mail bundle though? You just get thrown into this bucket of never respond or reach out to that person ever again. And you don't want that to happen. So make sure you're following directions in every step of the game. Like, even if you think you understood the directions, go back and reread them, because they're there for a reason, and it makes everybody's job easier. It makes the company's job easier. It makes the people who have to fill out, you know, all the technical information regarding a track easy, and you want to be an easy person to work with, because that's what brings the work back over and over and over again. It's just being a person who can follow instructions. So that's the third mistake that I see a lot of producers make. Make sure you're following instructions, and then to recap, make sure you're structuring your tracks properly for TV so they can be optimized for placement, and then make sure you're doing your research before reaching out to these companies. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, be sure to join the Airbit Discord community. A link to that will be in the description. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.